Welcome to Thomas Moser Cabinetmakers. My name is Chris Orput, and I currently am the assistant showroom manager here at our location in Chicago. We're located at 607 North State Street in historic Tree Studios in between Ohio and Ontario streets.
Tell us a little bit more about the building.
The building was built by Judge Lambert Tree in the late 1800s, and originally it was built for a structure that basically invigorated the arts. He was a big philanthropist and basically had the downstairs retail portion to help offset the artist studios, which have been beautifully restored by Friedman Properties and now currently house several local artists and or architects and or designers. And all of the tenants that are either downstairs or upstairs have a relation to the arts.
And tell us a little bit more about the company itself.
The what?
The company itself.
Thomas Moser Cabinetmakers was founded about 35 years ago. The owner of the company, Thomas Moser, was originally a professor of linguistics at Bates College, and working with wood was a hobby of his. And once he reached tenure, he decided to take a 2-year sabbatical from working at Bates College and tried to make a go of Thomas Moser Cabinetmakers. And hence 35 years later, he was extremely successful. The origins of our furniture lines basically came from one of the last remaining Shaker communities in Sabbath Day Lake, Maine. So a lot of the first pieces that Tom's designed were very Shaker inspired. That would include our Dr. White's chest, our new Gloucester rocker, our continuous armchair, which is probably one of our most famous pieces in that it's our signature piece and used on our signage on the outside of the showroom, as well as throughout most of our marketing materials. It's Tom's interpretation of the classic Windsor chair. First, the shop began in New Gloucester, Maine, which is right next to the Shaker community, and then perpetually, through desire to have more product and the need to increase the size of the shop, we basically ended up now in Auburn, Maine, which is where our headquarters are. We have an 80,000 square foot facility. Everything is made solely here in the United States. We don't farm out any of our products to other subcontractors overseas. And we have 6 showrooms throughout the country. We obviously have one here in Chicago. We have one in Boston, New York, DC, San Francisco, and Freeport, Maine.
And how long have you been at this location here?
We've been at this location for 2 years. In my previous role, I was a showroom manager, and we opened up our showroom just after 9/11 over on Walton Street, and we were there for about 3.5 years. So in total, we've been in Chicago about 5.5, going on 6 years. Okay, this is the Dr. White's chest that I mentioned earlier. This is the first piece that Thomas Moser designed for commission for Dr. White's. It's our signature piece. Most of our customers that receive our catalogs, this is probably the one piece that they, really, truly are vying for. What's kind of fun is that there's actually a secret compartment here in the space, which Tom designed to have Dr. White put his prescription drugs in, and then once the shelf goes in, you'd never know that secret compartment was there. All of our pieces are made out of American black cherry, which is harvested mainly from the Allegheny Plateau in western Pennsylvania. All of the insides of our drawers are made out of solid ash. That's the sides, back, and bottom, and they're all dovetailed in the fronts and the back. All of our case pieces have solid cherry paneling in back. We don't use any plywood or veneers. Let me see. So basically, yeah, this is where most of the original inspiration came from. As you can see, this is a very Shaker style piece. Then from there, we sort of evolved into more arts and crafts. That was largely due to customer demands. However, even though most of our arts and crafts pieces, when you look at them initially, you can tell that they're in the same vein. However, they still have that very Shaker feel to it, and that there's little to no ornamentation and very clean lines, and everything has a purpose. So like the detailing here isn't in fact cosmetic, it is actually structural. So these pins are actually holding in the mortise and tenon joints. I'd say in about the past 5 years, Thomas Moser was the original designer of most of our pieces. Now, however, the torch has been passed to his son David Moser, and this piece here is one of his latest designs. This is our Aria chair, and it has a very sort of Biedermeier style to it. These are individual panels of wood that are mortise and tenoned, and it takes about 12 hours just to complete one of these chairs. This is the armchair version. And this design has been extremely well received. What's nice is that David Moser is taking the line, you know, it's still definitely very much ingrained in the shaker tradition. However, design-wise, we're bringing in a lot more curves and bringing in a lot more, you know, sort of like ornament, but still, you know, very clean lined and straightforward.